was descended from a very old family, a school teacher, and a muggle.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
The story begins in a time when the magical world stands on the edge of deep uncertainty, and ancient secrets buried for centuries begin to stir once again. In the center of these shifting tides stands a wizard whose name has echoed across generations. A figure both admired for his wisdom and feared for the overwhelming power he carries. His past remains a puzzle of triumphs, losses, friendships, betrayals, and choices that shaped the very foundation of the magical world. This new chapter focuses on the hidden sides of his life, the moments people whispered about but never fully understood. As the magical world transitions into darker times, the energy around him grows heavy, signaling that the destiny he once escaped is returning with full force, pushing him into the heart of a conflict he cannot avoid any longer. The early part of the story unfolds with quiet scenes, portraying his struggle between personal emotions and growing responsibilities. He senses the return of an old threat, one connected to a powerful figure whose past intertwines dangerously with his own. These emotions create an internal storm as memories of lost friendships and painful choices return to haunt him. His calm demeanor hides a heavy weight one built from promises he broke, people he couldn't save, and powerful spells he once feared to use. While the magical world thrives on surface-level peace, he secretly prepares for a battle that could reshape everything. The story beautifully blends emotional complexity with magical intensity, giving a deeper look into the heart of a man often portrayed as invincible. In the middle of all this, unexpected clues appear in ancient books, mysterious symbols start glowing, and prophecies once dismissed as myths begin to sound terrifyingly accurate. New characters arrive, some seeking truth, some searching for power, and others simply curious about the legendary wizard who carries a reputation larger than life. The world starts shifting in his direction, as if the universe itself knows that only he can face what is coming. But instead of rushing toward confrontation, he spends time understanding the roots of the threat, exploring memories of his younger days, revisiting the village he once lived in, and opening doors to parts of his past that were sealed for decades. These scenes reveal emotional layers, youthful arrogance, moments of deep affection, mistakes that shaped him, and tragedies that transformed him into the wise but haunted figure he is known to be. As the story moves forward, the threat he once tried to escape returns stronger than ever, wrapped in dark magic and powered by hatred that grew unchecked for years. Rumors of dangerous magical artifacts surface, each holding destructive potential. Some characters attempt to harness this power for themselves, while others race to warn the magical community. Through all this chaos, Dumbledore remains calm, yet deeply troubled, torn between his desire for peace and his understanding that avoiding confrontation may cause even greater harm. His fears are not rooted in the enemy's power, but in the memories of an emotional bond he once shared with that enemy. This creates a heavy emotional struggle that becomes the centerpiece of his character arc, showing vulnerability rarely explored before. As tensions rise, the magical world becomes a battlefield of secrets. Dark creatures appear in unexpected places, enchanted objects misbehave, and wizards throughout different regions report signs of dangerous magic leaking into their world. Dumbledore quietly gathers allies, choosing individuals not based on power but on heart, loyalty, and the courage to stand firm even when terrified. He does not reveal the full truth to them, protecting them from the emotional storm hiding behind his calm smile. Their journeys take them through forgotten ruins, cursed forests, and ancient libraries where pages turn themselves and shadows whisper warnings. Each discovery brings them closer to understanding the true depth of the storm approaching, and every clue adds weight to Dumbledore's heart. Eventually, the story shifts toward major confrontations as the enemy begins revealing their intentions. They seek not only control of the magical world, but also revenge against the man who once stood closest to them. Their connection becomes clearer, revealing a past filled with passion, trust, ideological conflict, and ultimately betrayal. These emotional revelations become the backbone of the story, adding intensity to every encounter. The audience sees Dumbledore struggle with feelings he buried long ago: love, guilt, fear, and responsibility. The emotional and magical tension grow equally, forming a thrilling blend of heartache and high-stakes drama. Each duel, each spell, each conversation feels layered with unresolved history. In one of the film's strongest segments, Dumbledore confronts visions of the past through an enchanted object that reveals memories in painful detail. He sees his younger self standing beside someone he once believed would change the world for the better. He witnesses the moment ideals clashed, the moment trust shattered, and the moment he realized that the friend he cherished was becoming something dangerous. These visions bring tears, anger, and renewed determination, showing that even the greatest wizard is not immune to heartbreak. This emotional journey shapes his resolve, making him stronger yet deeply human. Meanwhile, conflicts across the magical world escalate. Towns face destruction from dark spells, ancient beasts awakened under the enemy's command roam the land, and magical institutions attempt to prepare for war. The magical community becomes divided, some supporting Dumbledore out of faith, others fearing that his history makes him unfit for leadership. Internal tensions rise as political figures argue over strategies, forming alliances that shift constantly. Despite the chaos, Dumbledore moves with calm purpose, trying to minimize harm while finding a way to resolve the conflict without repeating the mistakes of the past. As the climax approaches, Dumbledore discovers a revelation hidden and forgotten: magic, a spell capable of ending the conflict but at a cost so severe that he hesitates to use it. This moment becomes a powerful emotional turning point. He must decide whether the fate of the world is worth sacrificing a piece of his soul. The burden of leadership becomes heavy, yet he refuses to choose the easy path. His allies grow more determined after witnessing his vulnerability, standing with him even when the outcome seems uncertain. Their loyalty gives him strength, reminding him that he is no longer the lonely young wizard who once carried guilt alone. The final showdown forms the emotional and dramatic core of the story. The confrontation between him and his former companion is not just a battle of spells, but a collision of broken trust, old emotions, and painful memories. Their duel is filled with intensity and sadness as they fight not just for victory but for closure. Spells collide, the environment shifts, and the magical world trembles as their power unfolds. In between the chaos, moments of emotional honesty appear, glances filled with regret, lines whispered with pain, and memories flashing like echoes of a past they both wish had ended differently. In the final moment of confrontation, Dumbledore chooses a path that reflects his growth, a combination of bravery, compassion, wisdom, and heartbreaking acceptance. Instead of destroying his enemy, he attempts to save what little humanity remains within him. But the enemy, consumed by anger and ambition, rejects the chance. The emotional impact of this decision creates a powerful cinematic moment, showing that Dumbledore's true strength lies not in his power but in his heart. This emotional depth elevates the final act into something unforgettable. After the battle ends, the magical world takes a deep breath. Some parts of the land remain scarred, but hope begins to bloom again. Dumbledore stands at the center of this recovery, not as a hero seeking praise, but as a leader carrying the weight of everything he went through. The film closes with a mixture of peace and lingering sadness. The wizard has won the battle, but lost a piece of his past forever. Yet he walks forward with renewed purpose, ready to guide the magical world into a safer future. His allies stand proudly beside him, knowing that the world is better because he chose compassion over destruction. In the closing emotional moments, Dumbledore reflects quietly on everything that has happened: his lost friend, his painful choices, the sacrifices made, and the long journey still ahead. He understands that true leadership is not about power, but about heart, wisdom, and the courage to face the shadows within oneself. The film ends with a soft sense of hope, hinting that new mysteries may rise, new adventures may begin, and the story of one of the most legendary wizards of all time is far from over.